Hey, what's
Hey,
up?
sorry, I'm just fixing my desk.
It's all good. What we got to do? So what's going on? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, how you been?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Um,
I haven't seen you since we worked at the after school.
yeah, well, I didn't even think about that. I actually still worked there, kind of,
Sorta,
like,
kinda.
sort of, kind of, like when the pandemic started.
Yep.
Um, they like reached out to a whole bunch of people again, kids all day while they're on Zoom. So I was like, well, nothing else is happening.
What was that last part? I got cut out. Sorry about that.
Sorry. So they asked people to come back to watch kids on their Zoom all day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like mostly all the same people, just like watching kids be on Zoom in a classroom. It was strange.
That's like being a human baby monitor.
It was 100% because not all the kids knew how to do anything. So you have like kindergartners whose parents like sent them there because they don't know how to do anything. Be like, I don't know what this is. So it was just a weird time.
Yeah. I mean, COVID, I feel like for everything, COVID was like a weird time, you know?
Definitely. Especially like leaving school. So I know like a lot of different majors and stuff, they already had like plans for the summer. Like people had internships, they had like internships that weren't internships, but it was like an internship to a job. And then everything was like canceled. So everyone was just like, it was a nice summer off though.
So so what do you like? Are you in school or are you just like working or?
So I graduated right when the pandemic hit,
Okay.
and I went to school for fine arts. So when the pandemic hit, like everyone that went to school for fine arts was kind of like screwed. Um, so I'm just like, okay, taking jobs, like any random jobs just to have one until like all of the fine arts things open up again, which they're starting to, so it's fine. But it was very different.
What's classified as a fine art?
So it's anything from painting to drawing. There's like metalsmithing, videography, photography, animation. It's just kind of like anything in the art world,
Mm-hmm.
but
So
what
what's like
makes
your
it
expertise?
so I focused in photography and animation.
Okay.
So it was definitely different going to school for that. But it was also really different like coming out of school in a pandemic for that, because like you kind of have to move to go do jobs like that, but you couldn't.
Yeah,
No one
everything was
really
just
could.
halted. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was strange.
How did you get
But
into that?
so I was interested in art when we were in high school, and I remember one of the teachers was talking about going on a field trip to go visit the schools. And one of the schools that I was interested in, which was SMFA, was being absorbed by Tufts. And I wanted to go to Tufts. So I was like, okay, I think that's where I'm going to go. So I got in and I went. But it's definitely a different vibe than normal college because classes are so long and they're only once a week.
How long?
So it was,
So they're like almost like the length of a lab, or is it like longer than a lab?
they're 6 hours. So it's
That's like a
six
full school
hours a
day.
day. Yeah. So you can't like work during the week. You have to just like focus on school. So we would get to class at 9. We would have 3 hours of instruction basically. And then we'd take a little break for lunch, and then you go back for 3 more hours to actually produce stuff. So it was kind of tiring. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely hard.
So do you have any like samples? Like, do you have a portfolio of any of your work?
I do. I had a website, but I had to take it down because I am going to have someone else redo it. But I tried to like put stuff on Instagram like everyone else. But when you do fine art things, you can't like necessarily navigate an Instagram that way. You have to have like the actual pieces. So I've had my pieces in like different shows, like prints, big prints. And I've had like small animations for like shows in museums that were like really tiny. But it's like weird. It's definitely weird, but I do have a website.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see some of it. I don't know if if you have any like handy you could pull up on your computer, or you just have any like laying around or anything. But if not, you could just send me some sometime. I'd like to see it.
I will definitely send you some. Because I do have a lot like on my computer. It might take a little bit to send just because the files are a little big.
Yeah, that's cool.
Might be.
No, it's all good. I'm kind of calling you out on the spot, so.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But it was definitely weird because I feel like all my friends went to school for like kind of nothing's normal, but I want to say like typical majors, like they went into finance or they went to go be nurses, like everyone went to go be a nurse.
Yeah.
Or they went to like go be a teacher, and they had like pretty consistent normal schedules where they could balance out all of their like time, and they'd be like, oh, let's go hang out, and I'm like, sorry, I'm still in class.
So what time would class start? It would start like around 8, 9 in the morning, I'm assuming.
Luckily, classes started at 9 in the morning, so I didn't have to be there at 8, which was so amazing.
Up at the ass crack of dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the worst. I only had one class I had to take in college where I had to be there at 8:30, and I don't know how other people did that. It was not for me. But sometimes we had classes from like 9 to 5 at night. And then other times they were from 2 in the afternoon until like 9:30 at night. So it's like a
Wow.
pretty big chunk of your day doing stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that. Like, that's just crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty fun because when you're there all day, like everyone in school just like messes around at some point in the day because you're
Yeah.
just pretty bored. So people would make things that were like really just, why did you make that, or like just really funny. And I had one friend who was a welder, and he would make random things, mostly like things to skate on or like just big benches and stuff. But he made a bike one time, and I remember he was like riding it around in the hallways, and no one questions it. They just like let you do your thing. And he was just like, oh, hey. I was like, what the hell is going
What's up,
on?
man? You want to ride?
Yeah. A ride to your next class.
That's pretty like, I don't know, the type of creativeness just to make something like that, or just like the will, like I think it's crazy. Like, you ever look at like a car or like a computer or something like that, and you look at the ins and outs, like the gears and everything, like how did
Yeah.
somebody think to engineer this and manufacture this and put it all together? Like, the stuff like that's just interesting, like the mechanical
Yeah.
makeup of things.
It's so interesting. And it's like, at least for me, I'm like, what, how did you think to do that?
Yeah.
What did you do to get to this point? So it was definitely cool. And there were a lot of different classes I took that were kind of like that, especially with people that did stuff with metal. Like there were people who took metals classes, and they made things from like jewelry to like really big, like 3-ton things that they couldn't even carry themselves. They had to like wheel it out. And I would just be like, what is in your brain right now? Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to be like I don't know if they have like a gallery or something like that from your school. Like I'd love to see some of the pieces like people have came up with. That sounds like really cool.
Every art school in Boston, at least, or like around, does have an open gallery for people to go look at. So not a lot of people know that unless you like have people that either work in there or go there. But you are able to just like walk in and go see people's stuff. And usually, like once a year, every school has like either an end of the year show, a senior show, or like a sale where they're selling everyone's work, which is it gets pretty interesting. It's really cool. It's definitely like if you remember when we were in like high school or elementary school and you did stuff for your art class and they had it all over the walls,
Yeah.
it's like that to the extreme. And it's like instead of your parents coming, it's people with a lot of money coming to come buy it. So it's like really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That just gave me flashbacks to the you went to SBA, right?
Yeah.
That just gave me flashbacks to SBA, like when you'd be on the second floor hallway going towards the library. They'd have like all like the pictures up against the wall over there because the art room's like right in the corner.
Yeah. I remember that. Also, just because you said SBA, I remember that time that Big Time Rush came to the school
Why does that sound vaguely familiar?
because they came to the Whalen. They didn't come to SBA because someone from the Whalen won a radio contest. And then kids that we went to school with were just like so jealous and so excited that they tried so hard to get into the gym because that's where they were
Oh yeah.
and they just couldn't do it and everyone was just freaking out. I don't understand why that's in my head, but I remember that. It was so funny.
Dude, big time rush was like short for a little spurt right there. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but I do still listen to some of their music. Like, you know, what
I think we
go
all
out of their
do.
way, you know.
Yeah, I think
It's
we all
like
do, just like High School Musical.
yeah. I mean, it's almost like when you're at a party, you hear like Jonas Brothers Year 3000. Like I get like
Yeah.
that sort of vibe from like Big Time Rush. It's like one of those like random like party things where it's like everybody looks around, they're like, I remember this. Like this shit
Yes.
bumps.
I think my first college party I went to, they started playing Year 3000, and I didn't think people actually did that. I thought that was a joke. I thought like someone made it up, whatever, and they started to play it, and I was just like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's like a huge sense of like euphoria. It's like, damn, like I remember this. You start thinking back when you're like a kid, you sit at home, like you're watching Disney Channel, like Nickelodeon, whatever. But
Yeah.
I found that no matter what part I go to, it's like what school, what state, no matter what. Like I've gone out to clubs and they played shit like that. Like I don't know. It just the stuff slaps, you know?
I know. I it really does. um I don't think that I'll ever grow out of like that Miley Cyrus, High School Musical, Disney phase. I don't think
OG
any of
Disney
us will.
Channel.
Yeah, I don't think we'll, at least the stuff that we grew up watching. I don't know anything that's on there now,
Yeah.
but I will like make excuses, like, because I have nieces and a nephew. I'll be like, oh, let's watch this
So do you
because
have
I know
Disney
every
Plus?
word. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah. They got all the old good stuff on there.
I know. It's too good to just not appreciate it.
Like as soon as that came out, I'm like, boom, right away, like take my money, you're paid in full. They have like Even Steven, Phil the
Yeah.
Future, That's So Raven, they have High School Musical, they have all that. But then like I'm a huge comic book and Star Wars nerd, so they have like all the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars stuff. So it's like it's great. Like I love it, dude.
I definitely got more into it when WandaVision came out.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, WandaVision, hands down, the best Marvel thing that I've watched so far.
I don't think you've
But
watched that much then. I mean, it's good. Like for them, even a mediocre movie is still better than most movies out there. But
it's
like,
true.
and WandaVision was good, but it's not like, in my opinion, the best thing. But wait till you watch the other stuff. Like you'll really love it.
I know. I haven't started the Winter Soldier show yet, but
That
I
one
have a
was really
feeling my
good.
opinion will change. Like when I watch every time I watch something new, I'm like, no, that's the best thing that I've
Yeah.
watched.
Like, have you watched all the movies yet too, or just the WandaVision?
Yeah, I've watched the movies because I remember like that's the thing me and my friends would do. We would like get
Yeah.
together to go watch the new Avengers movie because that was like the only thing that was like consistently coming out when we were younger. So we feel like, oh my God, the new Avengers movie's coming out. Like we have to go see that. Like, and everyone would see it like multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so good. I mean, there's like what, like 22 movies, including like all the standalone movies. I think
Yeah,
I've seen each of them at least like 2 or 3 times.
yeah, I think so. And I feel like everyone's seen them so many times.
Well, they're always on
But
TV too, you know? It's like, but I'll go back.
yeah,
Like if I have nothing, like if I'm like trying to go to bed or I'm just bored and I want something on the background, I'll go back and I'll throw one of them on, you know?
yeah, that's true. The real question is which is the best Spider-Man?
Uh, I don't know. See, there's so many different avenues you could look at that. You could look at it from
Yeah,
Peter Parker himself, or you could look at it
yeah,
from, the plot of the movie, or you could look at it for the villains. You know what I mean? So that's
true.
kind of tough.
That is very true.
Like villain wise, I like the old school Tobey Maguire, but when
I
it
have to agree.
but when it
Yeah.
comes to like actual Spider-Man, like I like Tom Holland the most.
Honestly, I respect that answer because I do love the Tom Holland Spider-Man. He was really good. But I liked Tobey Maguire, his whole Spider-Man thing,
Yeah.
just because of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, yeah. Green Goblin was sick.
Yeah, that like unmatched. But
But that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, villain wise, mostly because of him, it's like you got to go with that. But if I'm talking about actual Spider-Man, like Peter Parker, like I'm going with Tom Holland.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
And
Oh,
then you could throw in Spider-Verse if you really want to, but that's kind of like all in one. It's like I don't know because it's a cartoon too, and they have all the different Peters. But Spider-Verse is pretty good too.
yeah, it was. I love when they like decide to do like animated versions of things
Well, there's so much more
because
creative freedom, you know? It's not like they're limited
yes.
by props and production and green screens and everything else. Like they can just draw it up and just have it roll.
Mhm. And there's like something better about a hero like in animated form and watching them do things because like seeing all the heroes like do things in movies is really cool because we know it's not real, but seeing it is like just still really cool. But when you see it like as a cartoon, you're like, okay, this is so much better because like I know people can't do that. So it's not like weird seeing it.
Yeah, there's not like those hardos who are like, yeah, well, this is real life, so he wouldn't be able to do this, and that because like he'd break his legs or like his arm would break or like, he'd smash his face and it's like, okay, it's a cartoon. Like he can pretty
Yeah,
much
it's a cartoon. Chill
you
out.
can
You
pretty
can do
much
whatever you want.
distort reality. He can do whatever the hell he wants, you know?
Yeah. People like that ruin a lot of the hero things. Like Batman's separate. I know that's not Marvel, but I could never like get into him because people just like ran so hard for him and were like, well, this wouldn't be physically possible because he's a human being. He can't like do all these things and like do all these moves and stuff. And I'm just like, who cares?
You talking about Batman in general or Christian Bale Batman?
Batman in general, because
Yeah.
they would like bring up all his like bodily movements in movies in general or like even the comic books and be like, yeah, this would never be possible. And then there would always be someone who'd be like, well, actually it is because he could do this and this. And it's just like, can you chill?
Yeah, legit. Like I'm just trying to watch the movie and watch this like dude dressed up as a bat punch people in the face. Like just relax.
It's not even real.
No, but I feel that. Yeah. I mean, that point that you just brought up, that I think that's partially why like I love Batman, like separate than Marvel, obviously. That's probably the only set thing from DC, like I genuinely like love is Batman, and
Mhm,
he's probably my favorite superhero out of everybody. But I
mhm.
do like the animated and cartoon versions more than the live action for even for him. Like that's like a pretty damn good example.
Yeah, I feel like whenever something's animated, there's more of a comedic relief for things because
Yeah.
people associate cartoons with kids. So they do like have funnier, like more lighthearted situations, but every like Batman movie is pretty serious and like he's pretty serious and it's never like how it is in the cartoons. So it is nicer to watch, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Do you have HBO Max by any chance?
I do not, but it doesn't stop me from stealing other people's.
I was gonna say if you could somehow get your hands on someone's account, the Batman animated cartoons, they have like live films and stuff on there. They're phenomenal. Like they're really, really good. Like I went on a bender where I watched like all 10. I think there's like 10 of them, like in a
Mhm,
row or some shit like that, like for a few days. Like they're really, really good.
mhm. I'll definitely watch those. I feel like over lockdown everyone kind of just like got into things that they used to be into. Like all my friends were rewatching Twilight, Harry Potter, like all movies from when we were kids, all like every Marvel movie in order in like the timeline.
Yep, I did that.
I tried, but it's so long.
I think we did like a week or something like that. So it was almost like two a night.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. I remember it was like a week, maybe like week and a half, but we did that and then yeah, friggin'
That makes sense.
just bang them out. You know what I mean? I did the same thing with Game of Thrones. I didn't watch
Yeah.
any of it until like the final season. So I binge
Mhm.
watched it for like 5 or 6 days, and then once the last season came out, then I watched it.
I feel like binge watching things has ruined shows for me because I don't want to watch it unless it's all out because I don't want to wait.
I don't I don't know. I mean, me personally, I kind of don't like binge watching because I don't have a lot of time to just like sit down and watch a ton of episodes at once. So I like the one
Yeah.
a weeks where it's like, okay, this is all you got. So like watch it whenever you get a second. So I'll like section off like a little block of time, watch it, and then boom, I get going whatever else I'm doing. So I don't know, it works out
Yeah.
pretty good for me, at least schedule wise.
Yeah, now definitely because everything's like kind of going back to normal. There's like no time to do anything. But like when things were different, like what, a week ago?
Yeah, legit
The
like a
way
week
like
ago.
like literally it just we
It's
woke up
like
one day
snap of fingers. All right, go ahead. You're off the chain.
and we were just like, wait, what? Even like going out, not wearing my mask or anything feels weird because I'm so used to it now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this doesn't feel like I'm supposed to be doing it. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, no, there was definitely that feeling. Like I remember just before they got rid of the mask mandate and everything here, I went to Arizona for like a few days. I was on vacation, and they haven't had masks like for months. So it was like completely
Yeah.
normal, no mask, nothing. So I was like, all right, like no mask, like let's get it. So no mask, and like it took me a day and a half, like the used to, it, and I was like, all right, like this is awesome. And then I came home as no mask, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm already used to this. Like
Yeah.
I would have been super pissed to leave with a mask on, go on vacation without a mask, and come home, put the mask back on, you know?
I did that because like maybe a month ago, I went down to North Carolina and they like it was optional for them to have the mask on at that point. So my friend wasn't wearing it. I was already vaccinated. I was like, okay, I'm just not going to wear it then. And
Yeah.
we went to Tennessee to go to Nashville and they haven't been doing any like they haven't been wearing masks or anything, at least from what was told to me by the people there. And it was crazy because Boston was still closed down, like everything was still like closing early and couldn't really like do much besides like go out to eat, but there was still the capacity thing. And here I was in Nashville. Everything's open. Everyone's on the street, like not wearing masks. Everyone's like at a bar. There's like crowds of people that I haven't seen before. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a different world right now. And then I had to come back and still wear my mask because we still had the mandate. So I was just like, oh, this feels very strange.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's such a killjoy.
yeah, it was.
So how was Nashville? I'm actually going there in a month. Like, do you have anything you recommend doing or any places you recommend going to?
Yes. So first of all, Nashville knows how to like party and get down. Like everyone there comes for the same reason, and it's to listen to the live music. Every bar that's like on this strip, kind of like we how we have Newbury Street for just stores, they have
Yep.
that for just bars. And every single bar had live music, and none of the live music was bad. It was all good. So there were a ton of bars. There was, I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie Coyote Ugly. And it's like this movie about bartenders that like get up on the bar and dance and stuff. And that's there. So like that's the vibe. And they have this one bar, and it was called, I think, Kid Rock's Honky Tonk or something. And it was 3 levels of a bar. So it like the first floor was one part of the bar. You go upstairs to the second floor, and that's a separate bar with separate music. And then up on the third floor is another part of the bar with like different music. And it was so strange because I've never seen anything like that here. It's always been like one bar, and if you go upstairs, sometimes there's like a DJ if they're doing like live music downstairs, but it wasn't like that. But it was definitely a fun time, even if you're not like a big country fan, because not a lot of people are up here at least. They still had really good music.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm looking forward to it. That sounds like my kind of vibe. Like when I go out, it's not really so
mhm.
much like to drink and get shit faced. It's like, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna get a nice buzz going,
Yeah,
but I'm going out like to dance, like have a good time and just like socialize.
yeah, it was definitely like a really nice place to socialize because everyone was just so nice. And I don't know if it's because everyone came from a different place. Like everyone I was talking to was from California, Texas. Like I think I met one person from Tennessee,
Yeah.
but everyone was there because they were like, oh, we knew it was open and we wanted to like dance to live music. And it was like everyone was super friendly because we've been locked in for so long. So when you see people, you're just like, oh, let me go talk to you. Like, this is so fun.
Yeah.
So it was definitely really fun. But I will say, they've never like experienced many Massachusetts licenses from what I experienced because every bar I would go to, they'd be like, this is fake. And I'd be like, please don't take that from me. That is my license.
Yeah, that's legit my real license. Like, just let me get in, bro.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know how to prove to you this is real. Like, I could probably FaceTime my dad, like, show you my birth certificate. Like, please don't take my license. I won't get back home.
That's wild. I know most places they usually just ask for like a debit card or something with your name on it.
I know. So I was confused as to why they didn't because I've had that happen to me before. But I guess because Massachusetts license on your picture, there's a signature of
Yeah.
from the registrar, and they don't have that on other licenses. So my friend moved from North Andover to North Carolina, so she switched her license, and after this happened I like looked at hers. I was like, let me see what yours looks like so I get why they're doing that. And she didn't have the signature on her picture, so one of the bouncers was like, this is why I thought it was fake because I've never seen that before. And I was like, well, you're bad at your job, first of all, because this is real, but thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, cool story, bro. Thanks for letting me in.
And everyone behind me in the line, they were like, just let her in, it's real. And I was just like, please at least give it back to me so I can get on my plane.
Yeah, legit. They almost screwed you like royally.
Oh my God. The only time that's ever happened to me was when I was in Texas. And when you're at some bars, they'll scan your ID in the
Yep.
register. And at that point, I just turned 21. So I still had the like other way, the
Yep,
vertical one.
the other slant, yeah.
Yeah. And when you scan that, no matter what, it will say underage because it's vertical. So three bartenders like came up to me and they were like, I'm so sorry, but this is fake. So we like probably will have to ask you to leave. And I was like, I promise you it's not fake. And I had my passport with me for some reason. And I gave them my passport and they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We've never seen this before. We'll get it for you. And I was like, oh, I could have just like gotten that taken away and like wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, legit. That's crazy. You would, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume because most of those people, it's like they're kind of just going there to make a paycheck, and they usually don't get paid like that much. But at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like, do it. You know, it's like the same time, like do your job, but you should kind of like do your homework, especially if you're like a
Yeah.
busy, like a huge traveler place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I like don't blame them because they're busy doing stuff all night, whatever. But you don't know what a real ID looks like because I know a lot of people, at least in Boston, that would go out in college with fake ones and they wouldn't even get caught. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
Well, maybe it's us that's fucking up, not them. You know. maybe,
Maybe,
maybe Mass has got to get their shit together and have normal licenses.
maybe, or maybe our normal ones make it so the rest of the people here can have fun.
Yeah, I don't know. When I was in Scottsdale, they didn't give me a hard time. You know, they kind of just took my ID, looked at me real quick, and they're like, "All right, get in there."
It's like always different because now if I go do something with my friends at a restaurant or something, I won't get carded. It's when I'm in a different state, I'll get carded.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, everywhere's different, but when you don't get carded, it's just like, all right, well, thanks.
I mean, I haven't been legit carded. I've been carded like obviously when I go out to like clubs and bars, but like when I go out to eat and stuff, I haven't been like actually carded. I don't think since I was like 18. Even when I still
Really?
had like hair, like no, because I always just kind of looked old, you know.
Yeah. I think I stopped getting carded like midway being 21.
Yeah.
Before that, I was consistently carded. And I think it also has to do with who you're with because a
Yeah,
lot of
for
my
sure.
friends look way younger than they are. So it's always weird whenever I go somewhere and they're like, oh no, you're fine. I don't need to see it. I'm like, okay, do I look old? Do you just not care?
Dude, when it's but
Maybe.
like when you look old, you don't know whether it's a compliment or they're like insulting you, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, do
So
I
it's
look old?
weird.
Like I look like mature, like I look good, or do I look old
Yeah.
like I got bags all over my face, you know? Like I'm about to
Yeah. Like,
my knees about to
what
give up.
old?
Hey, you know?
Exactly. What old do I look? Do I look
Yeah.
like maybe 25? Do you think I look like I have children?
Like what is old, you know?
It's a mindset. Maybe they could tell that I was out of college because I feel like the few months when after you graduate, the bags under your eyes stay for a bit because
The
like the
lack of sleep
last few
catches up.
months, yeah, I don't know how I stayed up and pulled all-nighters consistently all the time because now if I don't get like at least 6 hours of sleep, I can't function as a human being.
See, I feel that was the opposite for me. Before, if I didn't get at least 8 hours of sleep, I would be a
Mhm.
fucking zombie. I literally couldn't do anything. Nowadays, I sleep usually 4 or 5 hours a night and like I'm ripping, I'm ready to go. And if I sleep more than that, then I'm a zombie.
Really?
I swear to
Yeah.
God, maybe like the last 3, 4 months, an average night's sleep on a good night's been like 5 hours. And it's
Yeah.
like I feel good. You know, maybe I'll take a nap, maybe later on in the day, but like if I sleep more than that, like I feel like crap.
That's so different. I've heard like of people feeling that way after they get into like a certain routine. So if you have like a
Yeah.
consistent routine, like I would understand. But I think I didn't have a routine in college, so I was just, like, up all the time doing homework or doing whatever. So now, my body's like, "You didn't sleep at all. Like, you need to sleep, and if you don't, you're gonna feel like shit."
Yeah. It's so weird too, with, like, the varying levels of sleep. It puts your
Mhm.
brain almost into, like, a fog for, like, the whole day, or it makes your
Yeah.
body ache and be more sore, like, it's so strange.
It's getting old. It is so weird because I remember, like, compared to being a freshman, I it was easy for me to, like, stay up, do homework, and, like, even hang out with friends after that and, like, go to bed, get 3 hours of sleep, go to class. And then once I got to, like, my junior year, I was like, "You know what? Doing that makes me have a really bad headache, and my back hurts." So, I think I'm too old.
But then again, like, I go back to that, and it was like before, if I didn't get at least 8 hours of sleep, I was in a fog. I was like zombied all day. Like my body would be sore, like from whatever the hell I was doing like the day before, like super, super
Yeah.
sore. Now, like for example, today I overslept my alarm. So I slept in this morning and then like I
Mhm.
went out and did like my shit. And I've been like in a brain fog all day, and I've been like sore, like weirdly sore, like because I worked out the day before. It wasn't like a sore like from working out. It was like a
Yeah.
weird like aching sore. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Your body was just like, "You can't sleep for that long, never do that again."
Yeah, it's like if you sleep more than six hours, like the cutoff. Like 6 hours is like you're on the line. Like it's either too much or too little. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like so usually I end up sleeping anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. I sleep more, I'm screwed. It doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Maybe you're, like, on a little bit of an adrenaline high after the 4 to 6 hours because your body's like, "Yeah, I just, like, napped. Now I'm refreshed. I'm good to go." And then when you get more than that, you're just like, "Well, shit."
It's weird too because when I used to sleep a lot and take a
Mhm.
nap, I'd feel like absolute crap. Like, when you feel like crap and you wake up from a nap and you're just like
Yeah.
drowsy and you almost feel like stuffed up. Now it's like I take a nap. It doesn't matter. It'd be like 10 minutes. It could be 2 hours. I wake up. It's like, yeah, like, let's go. Like, let's go. And like jolted up, like rejuvenated. Like it happened to me. I went golfing with my buddies like a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
So, like I didn't really sleep that much. I went to bed at like 1 in the morning, had to be up at four in
Mhm.
the morning. So I slept 3 hours and like I was ripping, ready to go, perfectly fine. Then about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we went to Mohegan. So after we went to like to the casino to go gamble. So I'm sitting on like one of the slot
Mhm.
machines. I dead ass fell asleep in the chair at the slot machine, just slouched
Oh.
over like sleeping. And I was asleep for at most at most 5 minutes. I woke up like brand new. I feel like I just got 8 hours of sleep. I was fine like the rest of the day.
Oh
I
my
was up
god.
again until like 1 in the morning.
I would have passed out at that machine and stayed asleep. Someone would have had to wake me up.
I was literally like slouched over. Like, this is the chair. This is like the slot machine chair. Here's the backrest. I was like this. Just like slumped in the middle of the casino. All my buddies just laughing at me.
Other people probably saw you and didn't even think you were asleep. You
Yeah,
just needed to
probably.
take a minute.
They're like, he probably just blew his fucking life savings in that machine. Try to take
Yeah,
it all
he's debating his life right now. He needs to take a minute to process.
But I don't know. I don't usually gamble though when I go to a casino, to be honest. I more so go just because I get dragged there. I'm not really big into gambling.
Honestly, me either. I don't like losing my money.
Yeah.
And I kind of like just get dragged there by friends and I'm just there for the fun. But the games are confusing to me because you need to like actually know it before you do it, but I don't know any of them. So I'm sitting there just like watching people play or just like doing slot machines and I'm just like, okay, why do you want to lose your money? You can win, sure, people win, but
Yeah.
like a lot of people lose.
One of my buddies, he was up almost 10K before and he
Oh
ended
my
up
god.
losing it all.
Oh my god. That
Like he was
hurts
like
my heart.
he was at like 9,000 like 375 or something like that. And he goes, Yeah, man. Like I can't wait till I get to 10K, and then when I get to 10K, I'm gonna buy a new car with that money. Blah blah. And yeah, then
Just
he lost
kidding.
it.
Oh, that
Later,
is
buddy.
so crushing.
Like for me, like if I ever won like just a couple $100, it's like I'm cashing out. I'll see you. You won't ever catch me back in there. Like that's good enough for me.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, that is the way to go in my opinion, because people just like don't stop because they see that they want a little bit and
It's
they're like, okay,
addictive.
now what if I have more? I need more. So they just like keep doing it. But if I can't, like, even if I just get $10, I'll be like, all right, I'm good. I got $10, I'll buy a drink.
Honestly, the worst people when it comes to gambling though, it's like when they don't know when to take the L. Like they'll
Yeah.
lose like $100, $200, $300, and they're like, nah, like I'm riding it. Like I can't be like cold forever. Or like I already put all this money in the machine. Like eventually I'm gonna hit. And they go out, they
Yeah.
pick up more money, they keep dishing in back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like I know so many people like that. And I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ, dude! Like stop! Like just stop! Like you're gonna give me a heart attack! Like I don't know.
Yeah. I had one friend that went out one night and he was like playing games with his friends and stuff. And later on that night, he was like, I'm so pissed because I lost like close to $600. And I was like, what do you mean? Like at once? And he was like, no, I just kept playing. And I was like, you wouldn't think to stop after maybe like $50?
Yeah, like $50 ain't even a lot of money, but I agree. Like I went gambling
Yeah.
once. I spent like $50. I'm like, why am I still playing? And I went up to 100. I'm like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because that to me is the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
I'm clearly not winning. I could like catch some sort of win later, but I'm not doing it. I'm not good at it. So that's why I cap it.
But like most
I don't
games
want to.
aren't that expensive to play. It's like you can play
Yeah.
like a good chunk of games for like 50, $100. And like if you lose, then all right, like you can see where it's going. Like the writing's on the wall. Like, let me get the hell out
Yeah.
of here, Like I lost, like, all right, I lost, like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to take the L and be like, all right, I'm not good today.
You just gotta
Or
get
maybe
smacked
at
in the
all.
face sometimes.
Some people really do. And I know there's like people that do it as a job because they're like so good at it.
Yeah.
Like,
That amazes me, because like you can like they have books on it. There's ways to get like skilled at it. There's way to like do certain reads, certain hands, like
mhm,
like it's definitely an art in the way that
mhm.
you can win and there's techniques, but at the same time, a large majority of it is like just luck. Like it's just pure luck.
Exactly.
Like this hand falls that way, or this dice falls that way, or the ball lands. It's like it's crazy how many different variables there are. You just can't control them.
Exactly. And I know there's like some theories that like things are set up in casinos for you to lose and stuff.
Yeah.
But I heard that the casino that's in Everett has
Encore.
been like consistently losing money because when people win there, they stop and they don't keep going to lose. So it's like some people are smart and they're like, all right, I'll stop because I'm good. But then other people are just like, no, I need it all. And then they lost the house.
I guess Encore was popping off this last weekend or something. They had like Pauly D and 50
Yeah,
Cent and a couple other people in there.
which is a little random to have Pauly D and Everett.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I remember when they first opened, they're like, yeah, like Shaq is here and Snoop Dogg's here. And I'm like, why the fuck would they want to come to Everett? Like what?
Yes. Honestly, having the casino in Everett, I'm just like, okay, this is so weird because people are paying a lot of money to rent a hotel room in Everett.
Yeah. It's
And
like, even
not
if it
even
was,
Boston.
yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But it's like not even in Boston, you're not like in the city. You can't like go see the things in the city. You're at this one casino, you got to stay there because there's nothing else in Everett.
Yeah.
It's a suburban area.
But
It's
it's like even if it was in Everett or Revere, either or,
yeah,
like wherever it ended up being, it's like there's nothing like you literally would have to go into Boston like to actually do something other than just gamble. You know what I mean? There's nothing nice
exactly.
like surrounding there.
And I don't think like this is that area where gambling is necessarily the vibe. Like,
Yeah.
of course, like Vegas, everyone gambles because that's their thing. Like Vegas has made that their thing, but Boston has never had that. So it's like,
That's what fucks me up the most is because when I think of Boston, I think of sports and I think of
yeah,
clubs. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you go into Boston or you go down to like the strips over there. Like you go to can't even think of one off the top of my head, but maybe it's not clubs, maybe it's just sports. But regardless, they have a casino, but they don't have sports betting. Like sports betting is illegal in Mass. It's like when that makes sense to have sports betting because that's one of the few things like Massachusetts has going for is it's sports. You know what I mean? They usually have
Yeah.
sports teams.
And it's like the one thing that I feel like Massachusetts truly rides hard for is all their sports teams. So you have to like incorporate that somehow because all the people that are like from here and like to go do things, like they want to go watch that. Like I think every bar in Boston will play any sort of game. No
Yeah.
matter what the bar is, they'll have like one game playing whatever team it is. And there's no sports gambling? Interesting.
Yeah, I've gone to so many places in Boston where it's like, okay, every TV has a sports game on, and then there's just random music playing in the background. But then I've gone like on
Yeah.
vacations to places, and there's not a single sports game on. It's just like a DJ, and they're bumping music and whatnot.
Yeah, I thought that was like strange. I thought it was normal for bars to do that, but I guess it really is like an area thing because unless you're in an area that like really rides for some sort of team, because I know down south they're like really big on football
Hmm.
and it's a lot of college football they're big on.
Yeah,
So I noticed that they'd be watching like college football, but if you go like more up north, they're not doing that. And it's weird because it's like, oh, you're not all watching something. Not everyone is into it. Okay.
yeah, like it's almost like the casual fan up here too, or somebody has no
Mhm.
idea. Like they're still gonna get dragged down. They're still gonna watch a game. You know?
Yeah, because it's more of like a social thing now too. Like, oh,
Yeah.
let's all get together and go watch the game. Like whatever sports team is playing, like let's go watch it.
Hmm.
And a whole bunch of people come and a whole bunch of people watch it. And that's like something people bond over because you have fun doing it. And even if you're not a fan of Boston teams, because I met so many people in school that weren't from Boston, but they loved going to like different sports nights because there were so many people there and so many new people to like talk to. And like it was just a nice social thing. So it's like, who do you guys socialize with over there?
I think a lot of it comes down to location. Like when you think of
Yeah.
those southern places, like they can go. I don't know. It's like around here, it's like more city. Like there's not really so
Mhm.
much to do besides like go see a sports game or like just go out to have like a drink. Whereas if you go like down south, like it's fairly open. Like you can
Mhm.
kind of just go out. Like you can go like dirt biking or you could go kayaking or like do all like this other stuff. It's more open land to do stuff.
Mhm.
Whereas up here, it's like house here, house here, house here, house here. Like there's just like buildings everywhere. So it's like, okay, like what am I gonna do? Like stare at this brick wall all day, or am I gonna go down and go watch the Sox kid? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. Also random, but because I'm so used to like this area being how it is, I was driving to Western Mass over the weekend. And I want to say halfway there was like an hour and a half away from Revere. And on the side of the road, because it's like kind of the roads in the middle of like mountains and stuff,
Yep.
there was a bear on the side of the road.
It was a
Just like,
bear just
yes,
chilling.
yes, on the side of the road, like
That's
in the
pretty dope.
grass. I thought it was a dog at first. I was like, oh, is that someone's dog? And I like slowed down a little bit and it was a little bear. And I was like, in Massachusetts? What?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Well, there's so much like deforestation in at least around
Yeah.
Boston. Like wait, like literally we had waterways and we filled them in just to make room for like more property, more land, like roadways and everything else. Like when you get like to those places like Boston, New York, Like
Mhm.
most of the landscape of the land is completely changed because they fill stuff in or
Mhm.
they make buildings or they add bridges, everything else. But the further out west you get, there's so
Mhm.
much more open land where it's like, there's a few houses here and there, but then like you have like this big desert, or you have like this big valley, or there's like these forests or like national parks.
Yeah, and it's really cool to, like, look at. I was, in Texas one time, and all of a sudden, a lightning storm happened. It just wasn't in the weather that day, it just happened, and when the lightning would strike, 'cause it was at night, it looked like it was daytime, but you could see, like, for miles ahead. It was just, like, all open land, and I
Yeah.
was like, "That is the coolest thing I've seen, like, in any type of storm, because you don't like, you just see houses and stuff. So it was just, like, definitely different. The American landscape is just so weird but interesting to me, because it's like,
It's so
I don't know.
bipolar. It's
Yeah.
like you have the east where from the north down is just different, and then you go to the
Mhm.
Midwest in the middle of the country, it's completely different. And then you go towards the um the west where it literally changes, like where it goes from like Arizona, Nevada,
Mhm.
and then you start to get like the next state over, it's like all woods and forests. Even in
Mhm.
Arizona, like when I was there, we were driving through Sedona. So
Mhm.
Sedona is like pretty much between like the like red rocks. It's like that beautiful like red rock where you usually see like in pictures.
Yeah.
But as you're driving through, like it's where like the desert meets the woods. So it's
Mhm.
like forest with like trees and valleys and like bushes and stuff, but then it's like desert. So it's like two extremes just clashing
Yeah.
at like one point. So
Yeah.
it's really weird how we just have this like throughout the entire country. Like most places I feel are just kind of one landscape.
Yeah, and I never really started thinking about it until traveling more, because, like, especially when you're, like, on a plane and you're looking down at
Yeah.
it, and you see, like, the actual, like, lines of things and the differences, it's so strange to see, because, like, we're used to the same things every year, just weird bipolar weather that is pretty consistent. Like, we have the same things just at different times. And then everywhere else is like, yeah, we don't get snow, or
It's like
like we
just
get way more.
one
It's
thing.
like, yeah, it's like all different extremes. Cause I know, like, sometimes we get awful weather conditions, but it's never as extreme as like the Midwest, where they get like negative weather and like 10 billion feet of snow. So it's like, okay, I complain about this every year, but this is happening at this date on the same day.
Yeah, and then they have, because the weather is so extreme. They have extreme weather patterns, which cause a lot more like natural disasters in other parts of the
Yeah.
country. It's like whether it's like they get the front of a hurricane, or they get a tornado, or they get like an earthquake. Like we kind of, the one thing up here, like I think we had a tornado very rarely. Remember we had it when we were in high school,
Yeah.
like cut down Rivera on Broadway. Like that was crazy, but that was
Yeah.
like an anomaly. And then usually we get the back
Yeah.
end of like a hurricane, so it's just like rain.
Yeah, it's definitely weird for us to get that because we're so close to the ocean. So that's why everyone was like, what is
Yeah.
happening? This is real? No one thought it was real. But yeah, usually we get stuff relating to like hurricanes or anything that's happening in the ocean. Like, we'll see it. But to actually have a tornado touchdown here, that was like,
Yeah, that was like Twilight Zone crap. Like, I remember I was
and
at the high
people see
school. We were
that.
doing like a football camp, so it's like
Yeah.
right off Broadway. They like moved us all into the into like the we were in the gym. They moved us all like into the library like at one time. Like, what the hell's going on? And then they're like, "Yeah, you guys can go home." So they literally like we're letting kids like walk home. Like I remember walking up Broadway, I was going home, and there's just shit everywhere.
Oh my God. Yeah, they didn't really think it was going to be a real tornado. They were like, no, you're fine to walk home. Like,
Yeah, they
it's
they held us
okay.
there for like 20 minutes, and they're like, "Yeah, you can go home." And then we're walking. There's like trees down, there's buildings down, like stuff's like broken, signs are all ripped up, like
Oh my
down
God.
wires. We're like, "What the fuck?"
I think it was just one small part by Broadway that was affected. Like,
Yeah,
not a lot of damage compared to like what other states see, but it was like enough to like hurt people's like houses and all that. But there's people that like willingly live in an area in the United States that is known for the tornadoes that they have every year.
Yeah.
Yet they still like stay there. And I'm
That's
like,
in
how do you?
Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Like
And
Tornado
it's,
Alley or something.
yeah, I just don't think I could willingly live in a place that's named Tornado Alley and be okay with it.
Well, dude, I heard that the houses there are really, really cheap, but the house
Yeah.
insurance is like wicked expensive. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that's the same like in certain areas of Florida. Like it's really cheap, like you can go do it, but because they have such extreme hurricanes, like your insurance is pretty high.
yeah,
So it's like, oh yeah,
it's a
we can go
gamble.
buy this. Yeah.
It's
You're
not for
seeing either
me.
way.
Definitely not for me.
No, same. I don't want to be caught like in the movies because when I think tornado, I think of what they had in like the Wizard of Oz and like
Yeah.
how there's like all that stuff flying in there.
The
And I think
Twister. Yeah.
yes, if I saw that in person, I think I would just like pass out.
My thing is, it's when I buy something or when I
Mhm,
settle down to a place, like, I'm going to fix it up nice. I'm going to make it how I want it. I don't
mhm.
want to have to worry about, shit, like, every other year or something like that. It's just going to get destroyed and then you have to do it again. Like, that's such a pain in
Mhm.
the ass. Like, it's such a wasted time.
Yes. Like how down in Texas and like people that like truly live in Texas, like not in the major city or like Houston or Dallas, but like in the outskirts, they have to like replace their roof every 5 years and like repair their car pretty much every year because they get such extreme hailstorms,
Mm.
which I didn't know because I don't live there. But apparently, it's like hail the size of like golf balls, just obviously destroying people's cars, their roofs, or whatever. And my dad was telling me because I was going down to visit, he was like, yeah, try to see if you can see anyone's car like that's not brand new. Because everyone's car that I saw there was like brand new, like huge trucks and all that. And then when I got to like this area of Dallas, I saw these cars and they had like huge dents like on the top
Yep.
and like on the sides. And I was like, wow, they really do get those hailstorms. Like, damn.
Getting like a meteor shower every other day.
Yeah. Which would be terrifying still. Like, oh, I can't go outside. I'll probably get knocked out by a huge chunk of hail.
Yeah, like how you get caught in the rain, you get covered in water, you get a little bit wet. It's like whatever, you go and dry off. Like imagine being caught in that. You're just getting pelted with golf balls.
I would be so pissed. Like, what do? You just got to find some sort of shelter.
Dude, you just gotta
Oh,
book it. It's like you're getting pelted. You gotta hope you don't get a goddamn concussion or something just from being outside.
I know. Getting a concussion just from walking outside and there's a hailstorm. No, that is so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just like how like people get struck by lightning randomly and they'll like
Yeah,
live to tell the story.
that it's so weird how that happens. Because obviously like, our bodies have electrical currents going through them. Like
Yeah,
it's I don't know. Like what are
like
the
it's just
like? Is there like a legit odds of what it is to get struck by lightning?
I don't know. I think there has to be like especially if you live in certain areas where it's more likely to have
I'm
lightning
gonna look that up.
storms.
Let me see. What are the odds? Because I'm curious now.
There has to be some sort of odds.
There it is. 1 in 500,000. I feel like that's still
That's
kind of high.
yeah, that's pretty common. Damn,
One of the leading causes of weather-related fatalities. Look at that.
I believe
That's
that.
kind of wild.
But a lot of people live.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, still though, like imagine being struck by lightning. I've seen people get like crazy scars from that stuff before.
It looks like the lightning.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, is that where you got hit? And you can't ask someone if you were to ever see it because, like, you don't want to be rude. But it's like, is that where the lightning hit you?
It reminds me of what is it? Avatar: The Last Airbender. You ever watch that?
Yes.
When he gets struck by
Yes.
Azula with the lightning,
Yes.
he has like the huge ass scar and like runs up his arm.
Yes.
That shit's crazy.
I mean, that's real life now. Anyone
Yeah.
who's gotten struck by lightning, that's exactly what happened to them, nothing else.
So they're basically the Avatar.
Exactly, because they lived.
That
I
show's
think
dope
that,
though. I remember watching as a little kid. I used to love it, and then when they put it on Netflix, especially during COVID, like I remember just binge watching that thing every night.
yes, I loved that show as a kid because I was obsessed with Aang having Momo and Appa.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was so cool that he just had these two like pets, one that would take him around everywhere, and then the other one that would kind of like get him everything. Kind of. But that show was the best. They kind of ruined it with whatever live
Legend of
action
Korra.
had.
Oh,
I
I thought
never
you were
watched.
talking about the. I thought you were talking about the Legend of Korra. I forgot they had that cheesy live action movie. That thing was shit.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I never watched Legend of Korra, but I've heard mixed things from
Yeah.
people. Some people were obsessed with it. They were like, no, it was so good. And other people were like, no, they could have done without it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a few episodes here and there, and then I read
Mhm.
up on it because I got kind of bored of it
Yeah.
really really quick. So I mean, at that point, it's like I wanted to know how it ended. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I kind of can't really tell the full story because I didn't watch it. But the scenes with
Yeah.
Uncle Iroh were sick because Uncle Iroh's a G, you know.
Yeah. I think that was mostly everyone's like top character
Yeah.
because he was just the best. He had all the right things to say. He had the right attitude about everything.
Dude, I remember when it was like last year during COVID, like I was going through a rough patch. So
Mhm,
I was with my girlfriend for like 5 years, like we were living together and
mhm.
stuff. So then she
Yeah.
broke up with me. So and
Mhm,
I had to like move back home and everything. And I remember this is like right when Netflix put that on there, that series. So I started
mhm.
watching. Uncle Iroh was like my saving grace. Like he kept like my
Oh,
head like level. So I have like a deep love for that character.
hell yeah. See, he always has the right things to say.
He does, dude. He's a G.
He really is. I have friends that still love Avatar and like they're really into it and into like the whole storyline, and their favorite character is him just because like his vibe.
Him
And
and
I'm just
Zuko
like,
are honestly my two favorites. They're both my two favorites.
Zuko was a little bit of a bitch in the beginning,
Yeah, at the
but
beginning. But
because of
that's the
Iroh.
whole thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's the whole redemption arc, you know. But that's why he's so good. It's because he
yeah,
goes from being a total bitch to he's just like a badass. He's a good ass dude, you know.
exactly. Unlike his sister.
Yeah. You know they have comics and stuff for that TV show too.
Yes, and I learned that in college because like when you are in animation classes and stuff, they have you like watch certain things and like
Hmm.
research stuff. So I found out that they continued on with like comics and
Yeah.
not the show or whatever, but also people's like they write their own for like fan stuff, and people get so creative with that, and sometimes it's better than the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't know
There's a
how to
lot of
explain.
spin-off stuff that fans do all the time for like everything. It's crazy.
Literally everything, and I'm like, you should be paid to do this because you're better than what they're doing.
Well, a lot of the times I'll look into it, whether it's like a lore or something for,
Mhm,
you know, whether it be Star Wars or Marvel or Batman or whatever have you. I'll look
mhm.
into it because like I get like real nerdy at times. I'm like trying to see like all the ins and outs. So it's I don't know.
Yeah,
I make it almost like a competition. So like when I talk with friends that like know stuff or
yeah,
like they like it, it's like, yeah, well, did you know this, and that? But anyway, before I rant, there you come across all these different like non-canon like spin-offs and stuff just trying to find the actual canon. Usually it ends up being some really good
yeah.
content.
It ends up being really good and it's surprising, but like when you are so into something, like you love it, you want to like have a part in it. So I I like completely understand. I had friends that would write stuff like that about Avengers like in high school and stuff, and they would like make it more leaning towards what they read in comics and like what they wanted to see or what related to history. So sometimes like they just need to hire people that are really into it and love it so much because they'll make it better.
Yeah. Side note, did you know Dave Filoni, who produced the Clone Wars TV shows and all those spin-offs, was one of the lead writers for Avatar?
Really?
He was the executive producer for that show.
Damn.
And now he's like one of the front men for the Star Wars franchise. And
Uh-huh.
he was the director for the Clone Wars TV show, the
Mhm.
Bad Batch TV show, and then I think the newer updated Clone Wars, the final season, whatever the hell it was. But now he
Mhm.
he front runs a lot of the shows like The Mandalorian, like him and
Mhm.
John Favreau. They make that show together, along with a
Yeah.
couple other producers. But he's get the rights on his own episodes, and then now he's involved in the creative process for like their next step of movies, like the Obi-Wan series, Boba Fett, like all those.
Yeah. As his character in general is badass, but I really loved what he did in The Mandalorian. So, very interested to see where that goes because I was a big fan of The Mandalorian. I thought it was great. I really appreciated the storyline and like what they did with that show. So now I'm just like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, dude, I love that show too. That honestly, out of all Star Wars, that's like easily my top three. Like I've been watching these movies forever, like since I was a little kid, like all the side movies, like everything else, like the
Mhm.
TV shows. But it's just so good. Like the story's so good, the actors are good.
Mhm.
Um, they actually go deep into like the lore, and they give like in some cases some new characters, some new places. You get to see like the ins and
Mhm.
outs and everything. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Like there's a ton of Easter eggs throughout like every episode. Like it's just
Yeah.
so good. And then like obviously like Grogu's like wicked cute and he's mad funny. So it's like you get like that comedic relief.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um
Like I can go on for days about that show. It's just so good.
Same. I was completely obsessed with that show. And when they got to the point where I forget the name of the episode, but they were helping that frog lady
Oh, yeah, to
with
bring
all
her
her
eggs and
eggs.
shit.
And when Grogu was eating those eggs, he was literally committing genocide. That was genocide. He was eating babies.
You know how people are wicked sensitive on the internet nowadays? Like they're so quick to be like cancel, cancel, cancel. There was
Yeah.
mad people after the episode. They're like, yeah, well, that's not right. Like he's eating babies, so that's not right. The director should be canceled. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like it's a sci-fi. Like it's not real, dude. Like they're
And
basically two
also,
animals. Like animals eat fucking animals. Like relax.
and like he was supposed to be like a baby.
Yeah, he isn't
Like
dumb, dude.
regardless of his age, the way that he ages, he's still a child.
But you know what people get, dude? It's like Twitter cancel culture. It's crazy.
It's so weird. I think I remember that happening because every week when the new episode would come out, people like would watch it and start tweeting about it right away. And I like would block things, but still some things slip through because they don't like have the certain words or whatever. But I
Yeah.
remember someone made a joke and they were like, they really let this little bitch commit genocide and he's like eating the egg. And I was like, that is the funniest thing. But I didn't think people actually like tried to cancel it. It's like not real. It's an alien.
Yeah, no, people get upset about everything. Cartoon, friggin' sci-fi, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's very true. It's a very the internet's weird. I don't know if you watched Bo Burnham's new special, but he like talks about the internet in it. And I was just like, huh, maybe we need to just like shut off for like a year. Take some time.
Could you
Just
imagine if
like
the internet was off during COVID?
I would be so bored yet probably so productive.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's so I feel like there was so much more internet activity because it's like, what else am I going to do all day?
But
Then
also, like, how were you gonna communicate with, like, your friends or certain family
yeah,
because
unless you had like phone
everyone's
numbers and
far?
shit.
Yeah, and I've noticed that older family members, they love FaceTime. They're like, "Let's FaceTime. I wanna see you." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, please, come on."
Dude, I mean I always get called a dad in general or like an old man, but I do love FaceTime.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the FaceTime.
I love being able to, like, FaceTime my friends so I can put my phone down and, like, do whatever I'm doing and talk to them. But, like, my dad will be on FaceTime and the phone will be, like, right here. He's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, Move
Yo,
it."
step back, bro.
And it's like every person that's, like, a little bit older is like that, so it's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love the interaction, like being able to see people's faces. It's so different. Like I'll text. I
Mhm.
mean, I've said this before. Like I'll text, but you kind of get like that lost element. Like you lose the
Yeah.
facial reactions. Like sometimes you don't know like what people mean when they word things a certain way.
Yes.
Like, but then
Yeah.
calling over the phone, like I don't know. I just feel like everything is so informal, or it's too formal. Like when you talk a face to
Mhm.
face, you can be informal, you can be funny, you see people's reaction, you can see smiles, you can see everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's why I like FaceTime. It's like the next best thing to actually being in person.
I will agree because I feel like texting is so hard with, like, certain people because they either
Yeah.
take what you say wrong or you're misinterpreting stuff or things just get lost in translation. I feel like that always happens, and that's why I hate it, and I'd rather just be like, "Alright, let's go hang out, like, we'll talk when we hang out."
Yeah.
Like,
Like one of
so
my
FaceTime
buddies. Sorry, what was that? You good?
no, I was gonna say FaceTime saved everyone's life this year.
Yeah.
FaceTime and Zoom.
Well, Zoom, yeah. No, I was gonna say one of my buddies, like he's a good friend of mine, and when
Mhm.
I text with him, I absolutely fucking hate this kid. Like I want to punch this dude's lights out. Like, and I've told him, I go, his name's Brian. I go, text Brian fucking sucks. Like, I'm not texting you. Like, I'll just see you when I see you in person. Because then in person, like when he texts, like it's just like the way he words things. It like
Mhm.
comes out like very like rude and like abrasive, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, is this dude coming at my neck right now? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so out of nowhere. But then, like in person, like he's like this big, like goofy, like lovable guy. Like he's always laughing. Like he's a good dude. And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, I don't fuck with text Brian. Like, keep him away from me. Like, I'll just see you when I see you. You know,
I relate to that 100%, but I feel like I'm the text Brian.
you're the
I
text.
think, like, yes, I think when I say things to people, they're like, "What the fuck?" Or they're just like, "Are you being rude to me, like, right now?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, no, we'll just talk when I see you because you're not picking up what I'm putting down."
Yeah,
Maybe, like, the way, like, when people text pretty short and sweet, and they're just like, "Oh, yeah, this, and this." Other people are like, "Why are you talking to me like that?"
you know what I feel like is a game changer for that is emojis.
Yes, and I feel like I overuse them sometimes because I want people to know that I'm not being rude.
Yeah.
So I'll always put, like, random ones. My favorite one to put is the one in the cowboy hat for everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, everyone knows I'm not trying to be a bitch if I'm putting the cowboy hat, to be real.
For some reason, I put like a serious one to let people know I'm not like being a dick. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
I joke a lot, so people kind of see it and they're like, "Oh, like he's joking." Like he would make like a weird face like that in person. So it's the one
Mhm.
where he's like has like a frown and his eyes are like in a line and one of his eyebrows is like raised. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
use that one a lot.
I also I feel like I like to use ones that kind of mess with people a little bit too, so they don't really know what I'm trying to say. So if I'm
So you're full blown text Brian then. You're worse.
Yeah, I am.
You're worse than text Brian.
Yeah, like we'll be talking about something serious and maybe I'll get pissed off and I'll send you one with a little party hat because I'm like, no, we're not doing this right now.
That's cruel, man. You're just fucking with people.
I mean, voice messages a lot better. So if someone's not getting it, just quick voice message, whatever.
See,
But
but
yeah, I
with
think,
the voice messages, I feel people are hesitant to actually open them, like to listen to them.
oh yeah, because if you're in public, you're like, oh, what if my friend just said some stupid shit? I can't
Yeah,
open
exactly.
this.
And then everybody's looking at you, you get like 20 heads.
Exactly, but you'll have to like go off to the side and just like put your phone up to the ear.
Yeah,
But
you can't
it's
win.
better than being a text Brian. Sorry, guys.
Not as bad as being a text Kayla though.
Yeah, text Kayla is the worst person to exist. I feel like so many people can confirm this.
That's just like playing head games. Like you're just fucking with people's mentals.
Oh, no, I don't mean to.
Well, it sounds like you are. You just said that he would do it on purpose.
Oh, yeah, because like if you know, like things are going in a weird direction, you're just like, all right, let's lighten the mood, send a little party guy. No, maybe I'm just awful. Maybe I do play games.
Yeah. I didn't even know she had a tattoo. What's that?
Yes,
When did you
I
get
have.
that?
Oh, move to the side. I got this oh my God, two
Oh,
years
you have
ago.
two of them then.
I have three. So
Three.
there's an. Oh my God, I gotta like
Like I said, I
angle
haven't
this.
seen you since we worked at the after school. So
Yeah, it's been a very long time. But I have a snake on my. I like can't angle myself. Right. Yeah. No. No. Okay. My camera's like going the opposite way of
you want
me
a
moving.
laptop?
Oh no, I'm on an iPad.
See, that's where you fucked up, Chief.
But I have a snake on my bicep. I have a smiley face on the back of my arm.
On your tricep.
Yes.
You learned some things today. That's muscle terminology.
Well, it's like
Is
I above my elbow. And then I have a lightning bolt on my wrist.
that
Oh,
because you got struck by lightning? Is that where you got struck by lightning?
yes. Yes, it's a fact. I was struck by lightning and I'm living to tell the story. No, one of them's a matching tattoo. And then the other two were just because I wanted to get tattoos.
I'm not
So
judging. I just wanted to see. I saw you kept lifting up your arm and I saw some ink and I was like, oh shit.
yeah, it's pretty big. So whenever I lift up my arm, it's hard to like ignore it. And I forget that it's there sometimes because I've had it for a good amount of time. But other people are like, whoa, that's a really big tattoo. Like, what's the meaning behind it? Like, why'd you get it? And I'm like, there is literally no meaning. I have
I
no
just
thoughts
like
in
it.
my brain.
I'm just
I
a
just,
snake.
yep,
I'm the
yep.
snake, text Kayla, So I'm just giving you fair warning.
Text Kayla's a snake. Hello, all your friends.
Sneaky snake.
Yes, I really liked the artist that did it. So that's why I got it. Because I was like, oh, he does like really cool ones. I really want one. And then everyone was like, there's no meaning behind it. That's weird. It's pretty big. I'm like,
Hey
okay.
man, it's your body. You like it,
Exactly.
I
Okay.
prefer to,
Well,
I personally am more of a meaning guy, but at the same time,
mhm.
like I don't judge, dude. If you like it, you like it, as long as you like it, that's all that matters.
It's my body, man.
It
I'm
means
gonna
something
live
to
with it.
you. Even if you like it, it means something, even if it's not like a poetic meaning in some sort of
Yeah,
way. Like it still means something to you. Like it makes you happy, clearly. So it's on your body.
exactly. Yeah, I have that one snake. The smiley face also doesn't have a meaning. Like no reason behind getting it. I just like thought it would be funny
Yeah.
to have a smiley face on the back of my arm instead of like eyes on the back of my head. No, I have a smiley face on the back of my arm. So
It's better than when my buddy has one. He has one on his ass. So
I don't think I could handle getting an ass tattoo because you have to sit. Like, isn't that gonna hurt?
no,
Someone
he
has
was
to see
standing
it
up.
too.
It was quick. It's just a little
Oh,
smiley. You basically just did an
oh, it's
outline.
just the like little two dots and like the smiley
No,
face.
I think it's the circle too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know people that have like tattoos on their ass or just like other places where I'm like, how did you heal that?
Yeah.
Because like,
The weird
how?
ones for me are the ones like when girls have them underneath like their boobs and they're in like their rib cage, like right in between like
Mhm.
their chest. I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I know I
I
wouldn't
think
get
they
that.
look
That must hurt like
cool.
a bitch.
Yeah, I think they look cool like on other people, but I know that that is gonna hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Even like ones on your ribs. I don't have
Yeah.
any right now, but I know people like they're going through it when they get the ones on their ribs.
People tell me it's the ribs, around the wrist, and then around the
Mhm.
elbows are like the three worst spots. Like
I will
anywhere where there's like a
say
hard bone, pretty much.
yes. I will say that the one that I have on my wrist, it wasn't bad, but you could feel like because the tattoo needle vibrates pretty hard,
Yeah.
you could feel it vibrating your entire bone. So that was the weirdest feeling I ever had, and I don't know how I would react if it was on my ribs. I feel like I would like jolt around because I was trying really hard to keep my hands still. Like it's really small, so I was trying so
Yeah.
hard, and it was just going like this the whole time because of the tattoo gun. And
That's
then
crazy.
when they did the smiley face, when they got closer to my elbow, that's when I was like, okay, I believe everyone that said that it hurts over there because it's not even like that close to my elbow. And I was just like, holy shit, that hurts.
Just shook you to the core. It's just bone rattling.
Basically, rattled all my bones. But yeah, I'll fill it up more with
What, you
whatever
want a
else.
sleeve?
I think a half sleeve just because I don't want to do a lot on my forearm. I
Hmm.
feel like that for me would hurt a lot. And like my bicep hurt pretty good. It wasn't like extreme, but it hurt enough to be like, okay, if I went lower, I think that would hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And I like the way that half sleeves look on a lot of people. I think they're really cool. And tattoos are just really cool in general. So I like getting, once you get like one tattoo, a lot of people are just like addicted to getting more
Yeah.
because you're just like, okay, it wasn't that bad. Like, I want to get more.
Yeah. It's mad funny when I go to like pool parties and stuff because I have two, but
Mhm.
nobody like you can't see them because one's on my chest and then one's on my
Yeah.
back. So they're like, "What the fuck, dude? Like you got tattoos?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like I've been had these, you know."
How long ago did you get your first one?
So my first one I got on my back. I have a lion on my back. I got
Mhm.
that. Actually, I started that one when I was a senior in high school.
Uh-huh.
So I started it, finished it like a year or two later because I basically did like an outline, and I got it filled in with like color and everything.
Mhm.
And then on my chest, I have a rose from concrete that I got was 2 years ago. Might have been 2 years ago, maybe 3 years now.
Mhm.
So that's all I have, but I'll probably end up getting like one or two more. I'm not like super ink crazy, but yeah, they're cool.
I'm not super crazy about them because they're like pretty expensive when you want like decent sized ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
you get what you pay for too, you know?
exactly. So it's like I really have to like think about it and plan it out before I get it.
Yeah.
Even if it's random tattoos, like even though it was a random snake, I was like, no, I want it by this person. I want it in this place. So I just like sat on it.
Were your parents like iffy about tattoos or do they have tattoos?
So my mom has a few tattoos and she didn't really have any comment. She was just like, mm-hmm. My dad has a lot of tattoos. He has a lot. He even has like my name on his neck. So he's got them in like places where like, oh shit, that would hurt.
Hmm.
And when I got a tattoo, he was like, why would you get a tattoo? And I was just like, what?
Do as
He's
I
like,
say,
you
not as I
have
do,
them.
you know?
Yep, that's exactly what he said. He was like, oh, and then he was like, but it looks good though.
Well, at that
So
point, he
like,
has to accept it. Like it's there. It's not going away, you know? He's trying to recover.
exactly. Yeah, he was just like, oh, I can't believe you got a tattoo, but it looks good. Like it's gonna be there forever. So I mean, at least you did someone who knew what they were doing.
Yeah. At least it's
Because
not
I
like
know some
shit and you gotta go
people.
back, get it covered, everything. That's a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah, I know people who got like pretty bad tattoos. And there's also like this Instagram tag that I get like, oh, I just fall in deep whenever I look through it, but it's snake pit tattoos. And it's just really bad tattoos. Like, why would you get that?
Yeah.
And everyone just like puts them on Instagram, but it's like, it's so satisfying to like look and be like, oh, I can't believe someone has that on their body. But then it's just like, oh yeah, I can't just like wake up one day and go get one because that would be me.
Yeah. To be honest, my line when I first got it. So
Mhm,
my two of my buddies, they had this friend who did tattoos, and he did that.
mhm,
He gave them tattoos, and they actually came out good. Like but it was
mhm.
simple shit. It was like a skull, so, which is pretty hard to fuck up, and then the other one was
Yeah.
like flower. So I was like, all right, like let me try to do this. So I wanted to do at first it was gonna be like a tribal lion, which like I
Mhm,
figured okay, it's easier than like a regular lion, but it's still pretty dope. So we
mhm,
did it, and it came out like okay, but it was like the
mhm.
lines were like all fucked up. Like it looked like okay for like what it was, but the
Mhm.
lines were all fucked up, and I was like, all right, this is stupid. But luckily it was only like $50, so it was like whatever.
Yeah.
So I just fucking went to the actual tattoo guy and he covered it like nothing, so it was cool.
It always starts out with a friend that tattoos.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, this kid
Like
wasn't ever like he wasn't like my friend per
he was
se.
a friend of a friend.
Yeah, and like they had gotten. It was not like I just was like they were like yeah, like this guy has like tattoo guns and shit. Like fucking get tattooed. Like they did tattoos on them first, and they came out like pretty good. So I'm like, all right, like fuck it, like
Mhm.
why not? But they just didn't come out that good. So I was like, fuck it, like I got to go to the other guy.
Oh, that sucks though. There's like, I don't think a worse feeling than being like, oh shit, that looks like really bad.
It was like good enough where I didn't care like taking my shirt off. Like you had to look
Mhm.
like pretty close to see like the lines were like a little
Yeah.
fucked up, but it was just like like okay, like that's not like that good. Like I'd have people look at it and be like, "Hey, like that's a cool tattoo," and I'm like, "Thanks," like not
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit," like thank you, like thanks, bro, like no, just
Yeah.
thanks. So then I like
Yeah.
covered up, and now it looks fucking sick. Now I love it.
I mean, at least you got it fixed and it looks really good. There's like really good tattoo artists in the Boston, greater Boston area.
Yeah,
So I always like see stuff because there's a few people I follow on Instagram just to like see their work. And they just like have such cool stuff. And I'm always like, oh, I really want to go to them, but they're always like booked for like a few months in advance. So it's always so hard.
my favorite isn't even the original work, it's the cover up work. Because just to have something, especially when it's like very colorful, what they're covering up, and then just go over and it's like completely different afterward. Like that's my favorite. It's like the before and after pictures, like when people are working out or they have like a home,
Yeah.
like every model. Like it's just so interesting. Like, how the fuck did you turn this into this? But like those are
Yeah.
my favorites.
Yeah. It's like artists' brains are just so different. So like they'll see something like maybe someone got a shitty bird and they wanted to cover up and they'd be like, all right, let's make it space. And they do like this whole space thing. And I'm like, how did you come up with that? That looks so sick
Yeah.
from a bird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's almost how like the mechanical process, like how did you engineer that? It's the same thing with the creative process, which I guess that makes sense why they had you in the
Mhm.
in the program with other people who were making mechanical shit out of metal. It's a very similar process, even though the technique is different.
Yes. So your brainstorming ways and like what you come up with is the same way as someone's going to do it, but it's based off of like your interests too.
Yeah.
So if you like going really big, you're going to take something and find out how to go really big. And I think for me, when I make stuff, it's based off of like stuff that I like
Mhm.
if it's in black and white or whatever, and or like even maybe a movie I liked when I was a kid, I'll just like remember it and be like, oh, I could do this, this, and this, and it won't be the same, and no one would even like put it together. But
But
then
you
when
would.
you like, yeah, and I'd be like, oh no, it's because I really liked like I don't know something as a kid. And they'd be like, oh, well, this doesn't look like that. It looks like different, but now that you say that, like I can think that.
That's when you say
Or like,
inspired. Not
Yeah.
it's not supposed to like, model it. It's inspired, Kind of
No,
like,
the only
yeah, I
time,
guess.
yeah, I don't think um it's it's just a weird process of making things. But it's like it's fun to see people's reaction.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Most people, they just want to see the result. They don't think of they want the end product. They don't think of like the journey, the process, but like that's usually the best part, you know?
Yes. Yes, because you, like, don't just make one thing. It's usually a lot of trial and error and
Hmm.
just, like, adapting and, like, trying to go with whatever errors you have because, a lot of the photography that I did wasn't, like, digital photography, it was, like, film photography. So, sometimes things would happen either with the old cameras because they're pretty old and a lot of them can't be serviced anymore because they don't make them, or sometimes it was, like, an error on developing the film and stuff. So, maybe, like, it's, a colorful piece of film and there's, like, a line going through it of where it didn't develop all the way, could still work with it and figure out how to make it something you can work with still.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're trying to do like right now with your fine arts degree? Like, I don't know if you're applying to places or if there's like a job like you always wanted to use it for or anything.
So, I definitely want to do more photography related things, but I want to, like, travel and do it, kinda like how National Geographic has traveling photographers. So, I would definitely love to do that, but, I am currently, since museums are opening up, trying to, like, get my foot into a museum just so, like, I can meet people that work in there and, like, develop those relationships with all those other people because everyone that is involved in a museum and making art, they always know someone. So you can always meet someone else who could either help you do whatever you're doing or you can work with them.
Yeah,
So,
networking and everything. Yeah.
yeah. So it's definitely a weird process like a year out of school. Sorry, my
It's all
thing
good.
just like went black. I was like, what?
No, you cut
But
good.
it's definitely weird doing it like a year out of school because there's been like so much time that people haven't done things, but I think a lot of people are really excited and enthusiastic about getting back and doing it.
Yeah, I mean, people are just chomping at the bit to be interactive and kind of express themselves a little bit more than just being cooped up in the house and doing it over a freaking
Yes.
computer.
And we've also realized because we were like inside for so long that we need like things to consume. Like we need entertainment to
Hmm.
consume. We need like a whole bunch of different things, whether it's like movies, TV shows, like podcasts, or like little internet shows, whatever. We need them because we get bored.
Yeah. I mean, that
So it's
reminded
like,
me of I'm sure you've seen it before. It was a quote from Stan Lee.
mhm,
I'll probably butcher it, but he was like, I used to get depressed and upset when I'd have friends who were teachers and doctors and engineers. But then I realized entertainment is very valuable for people to have because without it, their lives would probably be miserable. And a lot of times they'd probably
mhm.
go over the edge, It's like,
Yes.
it's
Yep.
just something, it inspires people. It makes people be more creative. It's something people can also use to socialize with and talk about.
Mhm.
It's just great, all around the entertainment industry.
Exactly. Everyone needs something. Everything's important, basically.
In some way, yeah.
In some way, yes. It's just hard to navigate any sort of career in a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, so many people I know, if they doesn't matter what field they were in, business, finance,
Yeah.
they pretty much put their career like on hold,
Yeah.
Their life
Which
is
is
basically
okay.
on hold. It's like nothing's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for
I do
somebody who's trying
feel
to get established in an industry they've never had really professional experience in?
exactly, or like they were trying to when they got out of school, because a lot of people, even people in the medical field, like even though they have a degree in this, it was still hard to get any sort of job because they were looking for such specific people.
Hmm.
So it's like everyone kind of was trying to figure it out. But I think it was a good thing because a lot of people changed their mind and they were like, you know what? I'm not into this. I'm going to do this now because I'm actually into that.
Yeah, I mean, the time off was certainly great for people to be able to have some self-reflection, and instead
Mhm.
of acting on impulse, which they may have when they started the degree or they were looking for the job, they could actually think of, okay, this is who I am, what do I like to do, what I want to do, and then you can adjust from there. That's why,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I took time off. I started college right after high school, but then I took like 2 or 3 years off just working around stuff. And I
Mhm.
mean, I don't regret it. I feel like most people should take like a semester off or a year off as soon as they get out of high school, because so many people, they just rush right into things.
I agree. I think unless you know what you want to do, like that was your dream your whole entire life, take a year off and do other things like
Yeah.
travel, whatever, work, do something else and figure it out because
I mean, it's okay if you don't figure it out too, but
that's
I
true.
mean, it's
Yeah,
not really
it's
a
not for
priority
everyone.
to rush right into something that you may not like at all in the end. It's like, take that
Exactly.
time, like have like that vacation, have a little bit of fun, work around a little bit, see what's out there that might differ. Especially if you go to like a
Hmm.
public school. Like I know me, for example,
Hmm.
I had no real experience in like the trades or like most of the working industry. So it's like all I knew was school. So for me to go from school to school, especially
Yeah.
now that it's like going to cost money out of my pocket, it's like, well, maybe I should give this a shot just to see if, maybe this wasn't my calling or maybe it is my calling.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Definitely think that traits should be more easily accessible to people, like at any age, just to see. Because sometimes, like, that flip in your brain will switch and you'll be like, oh my God, I love this and I'm good at it.
yeah.
So it's easier for people instead of being a little bit more apprehensive when you're older. Just because you're older, there's a lot of people who have done it for a long time. So people get a little hesitant to jump in. But time off is a good thing.
Yeah, it's not always bad. There's a lot of stigma where it's you always have to be going, 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 productive. Sometimes you need like that reset.
Exactly. You just need to like pause for a minute and be
Chill,
like, you know what? I'm
chill,
fine.
bro.
Exactly. Just, yeah, completely reset.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. I mean, was there anything else you want to bring up, or
Um, no, because
any
my
groundbreaking crap, or you want to solve world hunger?
I won't solve the world hunger, but I I don't know. I will one day fight Logan Paul and I will win just out of spite. This is just all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's isn't it weird how you could just be big on YouTube and then be a professional boxer and make millions of dollars nowadays?
Oh my god. Uh,
Like
I
I was saying this to some my buddy the other day. Like if you if you tried to make a YouTuber a boxer and say that they were gonna make millions of dollars even like 15, 20 years ago, and then further back, like if you went from the start of time up until like the last 5 years, five,
mhm,
10 years at most, this guy would make no money. Like he'd be some random bum in the street. Now he's
yeah.
making like him and his brother are making millions of dollars from going from being YouTubers to now fighting professional boxers. Like it's crazy how societies like the switches just always change. It's like it started
Yeah.
almost like with the Jersey Shore Kardashian era and then just kind of kept elevating.
I think so. And I think it also has to do with however like strong of a fan base you have, like they'll support whatever you do and how much money you have. Because at the end of the day, if you have money at your disposal, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. So
Yeah.
they've proven time and time again, no matter how shitty they do something or how shitty of a person they are, they could still do whatever they want and make a lot of money from it because people are always gonna like watch and stuff. So
Well,
there
they're
was
good
one
at
day,
selling themselves. It's like
Yes.
it's like what Jay-Z said. He goes, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." You know what I mean? Like he is the
Yeah.
business. Like you gotta be able to sell yourself, at the end of the day. And then you could just, if people buy in and they buy in, then you make money.
I agree. Just watch out for that fight one day because it's gonna happen and I will have my Mike Tyson moment.
You should just send him a text.
Going,
Call text Kayla. He'll want to fight you.
oh, 100%. Anyone would want to fight me.
That's
I
your
just
in.
gotta text. All right, I'm gonna text Logan Paul and be like, hey, we're fighting. I don't care if I'm a woman. You're gonna fight me. So everyone better watch out for that. I'm gonna be the next person to fight Logan Paul.
You gonna take the dive like other people have been taking dives?
I feel like
Well, versus Jake, not versus Logan. Because Logan he fought Mayweather, but Jake he fought that fat dude that used to be in the UFC, Ben Askren. That dude def took a dive.
yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when I get my in.
All right. Well, it was nice chatting with you. It was really some good conversations, and it was good to catch up. It's been a while.
I know, since it's been like, I don't know, almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Like
Our high school reunion's supposed to be this year, actually.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot.
Are you gonna go?
Probably not. I feel like 5 years isn't a long enough time.
It's not long enough now.
No, because like we just graduated college, like we're kind of still the same.
I
10
feel like
years is
I'm kind of different. I don't know.
we're different, but it's just like 5 years isn't long enough of a time, I guess, for me at least. I don't know.
Hey, to each his own.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
mostly
see.
just going because I think they're holding it at Wild Rover. You know that place in Boston?
Yes.
It's like a club, or
Yeah.
bar or whatever. But it's like $25 or something like that gets you unlimited drinks because they have X amount of people going. So it's like open bar.
Okay.
So fuck it.
Maybe
I'll
I'll
pay.
reconsider.
You know what I mean? I'll pay $25 to get shit faced. Why not?
Okay, that's valid. Yeah, maybe I'll reconsider. We'll see what happens.
I think it's August 28th is the final date that they picked.
I think so. I think I was like in a Facebook group or something.
Yeah, there's a Facebook group. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll see you at the reunion.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you again. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And, maybe I'll see you at the reunion. Maybe.
Yes, maybe. Good luck on your podcast.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. I'll see you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too.